Hi, good morning everyone, and welcome to STM Environmental's refresher on GeoEnviron. This video is going to be live on YouTube for those who couldn't make the webinar today, and it's going to be covering the basics in GeoEnviron just to get you up and running with the software. So, without further ado, let's begin. So today, as I say, is going to be a refresher in GeoEnviron. It's going to be roughly half an hour. Depending on the speed and if we get any questions or anything like that. And it's going to be to refresh your skills from GeoEnviron. And it's designed for the basics, so it's going to be covering very basic things in GeoEnviron. We're going to be looking to do a series of webinars, which I'll mention a bit later on. And it's for people who, maybe perhaps missed the training, the initial training. Perhaps you've got a new starter and you want sort of an online video bank of information to have a look at to get them trained up. So, about GeoEnviron, it's the complete data management system. It was developed in Denmark and has been honed over many years. And as I say, it's for environmental professionals by environmental professionals. And we release regular updates, and we try and keep up with regulations. And it's a really great bit of software for data management. About us, we're STM Environmental. We're an environmental consultancy specialising in data management, but we also do public and private sector work. And it all started with GeoEnviron. The company's been running about 15 years, and we're based in Twickenham. We actually moved into new offices recently, and it's very nice surroundings indeed. About myself, I'm from an environmental management background. My name's Tyree. I joined STM in early 2017. So guys, we're recommending that you upgrade because there's a new version of GeoEnviron out, GeoEnviron 8.1. It's got some great new features in there, like drag and drop, upload multiple photos simultaneously, things like that. We're going to be covering a little bit of that today in case you missed some of the other webinars, which are all live on YouTube for you to watch. But it's got some great new features, and hopefully you'll see them in use, and we'll start to see more people upgrading. And as I say, there's going to be lots of training videos. We're going to be doing a series of webinars, try and keep people up to date. There's also the What's New manual, which features loads of videos on how to implement some of the new features. The next webinar, as I mentioned earlier, is going to be a refresher on Map Eagle. We're going to be sending out an email about that, so do keep an eye on that. And we will confirm a date at some point. So what we'll learn today, we're going to be going through the basics of GeoEnviron, from creating a site to linking the documents, whether that be images, notes, or just the document itself, perhaps a Word or a PDF. We're going to be looking at customizing fields, so there's a few tricks to that, as well as looking at base tables, which I know a lot of people are sort of scared about editing, but really once you know what you're doing, it's a very simple process, and hopefully you guys can utilize it to get the best out of the software. So guys, without further ado, let's get started. So as you can see here, I've opened up GeoEnviron. So we've navigated to case management, which you can check by looking up here. So the first thing to do is we're going to be creating a site, and the site is this area here, and this is where all your core information about a site, so the address, the street, the address, the postcode, etc., the name, what kind of site it is, its current use, that sort of thing, is all located at the top there, and it's sort of the first branch on the tree that allows you to create to edit a site. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a site through clicking on that ID button, that little icon there, and that brings up the case management. You click part 1, and then this pop-up box comes up, and you can choose what type of site you want. So for example, we're going to choose a flood asset. Click OK, and you can see it autofills in with the ID. And the ID is something you can search for. We're going to quickly do a find and retrieve later, just to show you the principle of it. But that's how you search in GeoEnviron. So the next thing to do would be to add in the name. So the name we're going to call test123, and then by hitting tab we can go into the next field. So the site type, which here we're going to be choosing as a case, and you can see that autofills in there. And then perhaps we want to choose a street. So here we go, we can choose Abbey Mills in Greenwich, and as you can see it updates there. So the next thing to do would be to hit update. So update in GeoEnviron is like the save button, and you want to be hitting that after you do any sort of changes to it, just so that all that settings get saved. So if we hit update there, that will create the site called test123 located at Abbey Mills in Greenwich. The next step, I guess, would be to do to create a case. So you can create multiple cases. So you have one site, but you can have multiple cases. So it's great for stuff like planning applications where you might receive more than one for the same site. So for example, we're going to choose a flood incident, click new, and again I use that little button there with the dots. That's basically to create a new site, a new case, sorry. We're going to choose the case reference, so it could be site 001, press tab, and it will autofill with today's date. And then if you want to do the close date, we can do DD plus 10, and that will choose the current date plus 10. And as you can see, it's typed out 26th of the 8th 2017. So that's the close date. We're going to choose a case officer, so we just choose any. The case type by clicking that button, and we're going to choose a flood incident. So that's created a case. So from here you can associate lots of files to a case. So that could be either a document or a note. We've even got a task list, which we're going to cover in a later webinar. So I think the first thing to do would be to do a note on the site. So we could do, again, by clicking this this subheading here, notes, and then typing in DD, which is code for the current date, and then you've got the current date pops up. By clicking this little L here, we can see the type of note that we can add. So whenever you see that little L, it's going to be a list of all the possibilities that you can enter into that field. So we're going to call it a general note, and we'll just type in Tyree to review, and then click update. So that's created a note for the site, so anyone else who's logging into the database can come in and see that, and they can access that information, and it's a really handy way of sort of storing all your data in one place, so that everyone can see. The next thing to do would be to add a document. So you can add documents manually. We're going to go through that quickly now for people still using the old version, and then we'll show you how quick the new version is, just to sort of really emphasize why we want you to upgrade, because it is really for your benefit. So if we type in manually document number 001, type, we'll select memo, and that will infill the registered date and the document date. The addressee we'll call STM. The description, we could choose memo, comment sent to planning, for example. Click update, and then we choose the document by clicking that little folder there. So if we just navigate here to Documents, to Webinar, and then to Drag and Drop Test, that's how you update a document manually. And then you click Update to save, and then that will keep the document there. The quicker way to update a document is the new drag and drop feature, which is really cool. So say for example you just wanted to get the same document drag and drop test in, what you do is you just drag, drop it in, and it auto fills out almost every setting. So all you have to do here, for example, is type in 001 into the document number, click Update, and that's saved. The next feature we're going to be looking at is how to upload a photo to a site. So you can see here this little photo viewer button. So that's where you're going to be uploading your photos to. And again, using the drag and drop feature, we can just upload photos in an instant. And you can upload multiple photos simultaneously now in the new feature, in the new GeoEnviron. So here we can see, just drag in a photo and another, and then you can cycle through them. And it's a really good thing, you know, if you're going out on inspections or something like that, and you want to upload those photos of the inspection to keep all your data in one place. As I said before, and I'll say again, I'm sure seamless data management, it's all about keeping that data in one place so that everyone can access it at one point and see where everything is at. So here we're going to be looking at the base tables. So the idea behind the base tables is it's the bit of the database you don't really see in every day-to-day use. It's the bit that controls what's on the surface. So if you want to edit things and customize GeoEnviron for your use, you want to be using the base tables. So a little trick here is, as you can see on these fields here, for example on the site area, we've got test here, which is one I created earlier, is a custom field. But say we want to add something to that test field, a type of test, so, or it could be like a risk assessment, so you could have yes or no, this is a risk assessment being done. So what we do is we double click on the right of it, and I'll show you that again just in case you missed it. So we hover over to the right and double click, and that brings up all the custom fields that you can enter into that base table, into that unit in the base tables. So we're going to click insert, we're going to call it RA for risk assessment. We're going to type in yes, or risk assessment actually. Click update, and now we see when we type in RA, risk assessment comes up. So this is a really good way of customizing the kind of data you see in GeoEnviron. So you can go into the base tables and edit things just by clicking to the right of it. So for example, for current use, we can see it brings up the options. For this one, double click to the right of it, we can insert another field, a custom field for your use. Okay guys, so we're going to recap what we've learnt today. So we've learned how to get the best out of GeoEnviron. We've looked at a lot of features, but looking at the basic stuff first, just to get you up to speed. As I say, if perhaps you missed the training, or you're a new starter, and you need that little bit of help to get you up and running, hopefully you can refer to this video. And as I say, this broadcast is going to be going out on YouTube for people to watch in their free time. So if you ever have any questions, you can leave a comment in the section below for people to get in contact with us, or alternately you can email us at info@stmenvironmental.co.uk. So we looked at creating a site today. So that's basically the hub of the data from where you can link everything. And as you saw, it's an easy process. It takes a minute or two to create a site from start to finish, you know, depending on your speed. We also looked at how to attach notes. So again, it's an easy process, and it's that same idea as attaching anything, where you click update at the end and, you know, select from the little check boxes to select what kind of information you'd like to store. Attaching an image, again, we're going for that complete data management line. It's great for inspections, as I said. It's the idea is to build up a bigger picture of the site, if you'll excuse the pun that I've used so many times. Looking at creating a new case. So it's the same site, but it's different data. So it's great for stuff like planning applications, things like that, or flood incidents where you're getting recurring information coming up about the same site, but it's different data. Linking a document. You can build a bigger picture of the site with all your associated files. You can manage all your data in one place using GeoEnviron. And also using the new drag and drop feature, we think it's going to really revolutionize how quickly you can add documents to GeoEnviron. Base tables, it's the hidden part of the database which you edit to change what you see on the surface. You know, we really recommend you guys look into this a bit more. You know, if you have any questions about it, perhaps you could give us a call on the usual lines, or refer to this video. It's essentially a way of customizing your database so you can get the best out of it and you can use it for all the things that you need to. And the custom ADM units, another customizable field to create a new unique database. Okay guys, that's going to be all for this week. The next webinar is going to be on MapEagle. We'll be sending out an email once the date has been certified. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to use the comment section below. As I say, this is going to be going out on YouTube for you guys to watch in your own time as well. So thank you for watching, and see you in a short period of time.